Welcome to the final episode of faction reviews for Way of the Witcher expansion set. And as you see, this is not a faction review, instead I'll be reviewing neutral cards in this set. Since there are a considerable amount of neutral cards in this set, I decided to shoot a different video for them. But this is going to be obviously a shorter video than the others, because there won't be any interactions or theory crafting, because this is not a faction specific set, so these cards are designed to support other cards in other factions. That's why I'm going to be talking about all of the individual cards. And let's start with Azure, the legendary character in the neutrals. Well, Azure card has been released before Way of the Witcher, a few weeks before. This was a new approach by CD Projekt Red. It was like a teaser, and we were able to use him in the game. So that was a interesting decision, and I kind of like it. Anyway, let's get to the card. Everyone is probably familiar with the card since they even use it before Way of the Witcher. This is a meme card because there's a lot of RNG involved in this card. You have to play spells after you deploy Azure, and whenever you play a spell, Azure will spawn a random unit with the same provision cost, so you need to cast high provision spells to get more value out of it. But those high provision units may not be high powered units, so it's all luck based. You can get a spear tip unit with a high let's say high provision spell. With Oniromancy, you can get big value, but you can get crappy cards like Philippa, for example. Philippa Blind Fury is only 1 power, so she will come into play with 1 power, and her trigger ability won't be deployed, won't be activated, because you spawn a random unit, not play a random unit. That's why Azure can win you the round, but he might cost you the game, because in order to add Azure, you need to remove an 11 provision card from your deck. And if you plan to build your deck all around him, I think that would be a mistake. So Azure could be a nice addition, but we are warning you. So he is not guaranteed you to draw good cards. That's why he's been considered as a meme card, but some people like to play him anyway. We have several neutral Witchers in this set, as it's supposed to be, because if you remember the game, Geralt and the Witchers along with him were basically neutrals. They didn't want to commit themselves to a specific faction. In this set, we're seeing faction schools, and they're dedicated to specific factions. But if you remember, all the Geralt cards are neutral, so that's why they wanted to continue that theme and added a few more neutral Witchers, like Berengar and Leo. Both of these cards benefit from having lots of Witchers on the board, so if you're planning to use them, they have to be together along with many more Witchers. So it has to be a Witcher tribal deck, and for Berengar, there has to be plenty of Witchers on the same row that you deploy him. Otherwise, if he is alone, he's gonna destroy himself. For Leo, again, you should have played lots of Witchers on the board, so when you deploy, this guy will boost himself by 1 for every Witcher you control. If you remember, I was the one who introduced this card, and I wasn't really enthusiastic about it, but after my reveal video, they added a few more Witcher themed cards, so he got more valuable after my review. And we're actually seeing both of these cards in action, and you can play it in a Northern Realms Witcher deck with both of these, along with producing lots of Witcher students, and then adepts are transferring them to 4 power units, so you can have a lot of Witchers on the board, and you can get a lot of value from Vesemir Mentor and so on. So, and I don't think it's a really weak deck, so you can still play that kind of deck if you really like playing that kind of deck. because there won't be much control involved in it. You just have to put a lot of units on the board, you know, and get a huge value out of them at the end of the round. And we have another neutral Witcher card. This is the final sign card for Geralt, and this is Quen. Quen is a tutor card for Witchers, and especially in this set, every faction has a nice legendary Witcher like Gazras and Arnegat and Erland. They are really good cards, and then they can win you the game. So if you are missing one of these, you can search them with Quen. Well, you need to remove a 10 powered, 10 provision cards in order to add Quen, but Quen will improve the consistency of your deck. So you're gonna reach your crucial cards in your deck. That's why I think he's a good card, and it has a bonus ability like Adrenaline 3, give it shield to the Witcher you played from your deck. So Quen is better than I expected. And other than that, you know, you can search for Yrden or Igni or Vesemir. So there are also several, you know, quality Witchers that can again win you the round or maybe the game. So I think Quen is a really good card. Kozima Molespina. Kozima is the ultimate meme card. When you deploy Kozima, he transforms adjacent units into random units that cost 1 provision more. So there has to be 2 units on the same row. You're gonna play Kozima between them, and then he will transform those units into who knows what. That's the problem with it. I mean, you can get, you know, pretty good value if those cards are like, let's say, low powered, but with great deployability. You can transform them into maybe, you know, high powered cards. But you never know. You can get the total crap out of them. So you cannot depend on Kozima to win you the round. And he's 9 provision. He's not a low provision card like 6 or 7. So it's a big risk, and it's no surprise that no one is touching this card. No one is bothering to play it. And I didn't like the design of this card as much as I did Azure. You need a few cards like Azure, but this card is too RNG, and I'm not a fan of it. On the other hand, I love Idren of Ulivo. I think this is the best neutral card in this set. And the first time you spawn a unit each turn, spawn a 1 power copy of it on this row and give it doomed. So if you're playing units that has spawn tag on them, you'll get huge value out of Idren. Well, it only spawns a 1 power copy of it, but if that unit is a engine, or if you're playing a swarm type of deck, those spawned copies will be really valuable for you. And there are a lot of spawn keyword cards in this game. So he could surprisingly give you a lot of value. In addition to that, there are some leader abilities that has spawn, again, keyword on them, like Imposter and Fruits of Isgit. Yeah, those fruit tokens are being spawned. So when you spawn a fruit, Idren will also spawn a fruit, so you will have 2 Thrive units on the board. And he has 6 powers, so he isn't easy to be removed. You cannot destroy him with 5 powered spells. You need 2 cards, or, you know, dedicate a gold card like Heatwave, and Heatwave is 10 provision and Idren is 8 provision, so you're still winning if your opponent is making a play like that. And I think he fits best into monsters because there are a lot of spawning in monsters faction. But Nilfgaard, Syndicate, or other factions can, you know, find ways to use him. So if you know, just randomly add Idren into your deck, you're probably gonna get value. But so far, I think that Koshi decks, those Thrive decks, are using him. So I think that he really fits great into that deck. But the problem is that deck is not particularly strong so far. But I think he will somehow fit into a, you know, tier 1 deck in the future, and someone will find a way to do that. Snowdrop has been surprisingly performing great. And when I first saw her, I thought it's a really good card because I have been playing different card games in the past, so hand and deck manipulation is really great in these games, especially in Gwent. And let's read the card. First of all, this is not a deploy ability. You can use it whenever you want, and you can use it in the first turn because she has Zeal on her. Order, draw 2 cards and shuffle 2 cards back to your deck. But she only has 2 power. But whenever you draw a card, boosts herself by 2. So if you use this ability, she will boost herself up to 6 power. But when she is on play and you do something else like drawing cards with other cards or using your leader ability, she will be boosting herself up for every card you draw. And then if you discard a card, her power won't be reduced. So abilities like Tactical Decision is great fit for Snowdrop because with Tactical Decision you are drawing 3 cards, so Snowdrop will get 6 more power. And if you're using Skellige's discard cards, like if you discard a card, it comes into play, and then there are some cards like do you draw cards, you discard cards. Those cards will help with Snowdrop. So for now, Skellige's Lippy decks are using her, but in the future we may see her in different decks as well. I think she's a solid addition to this game. On the other hand, Maxi Van Deckar sucks. She's a 6 provision, 6 power card, and her ability is not much to talk about. Deploy, look at your deck in order from top to bottom. Okay, that could help. You may shuffle your deck, then put a card on the bottom of it. So you have 2 options. You just look at your deck, so you're getting clues what to draw next turn. Okay, so you're getting information for the next round. And the other option is you don't like the order, so you want to shuffle your deck and then put a card on the bottom of it. So why not put that card on top of it? So putting a card on the bottom of it makes no sense to me and gives no value. There could be a brick card like I don't know, or maybe you're playing Syndicate or Flying Redanian. You're gonna draw it anyway, so you can put it on the bottom of it. Who knows? But still, it's such a minor, upside that you don't want to include her in any kind of deck. And so far, no one has used her. I think it's the worst gold card in this set. Selective Mutation is pretty good. It's an alchemy card, so Skellige can find better use for it with Battle Trance and Hermione. And what does this card do? Draw a card with Adrenaline of your choice, then shuffle back a card from your hand to your deck. So you draw an Adrenaline card and shuffle a card from your deck. So again, hand and deck manipulation, and you're tutoring a card with Adrenaline tag on it, and there are really good Witcher cards with Adrenaline tag on it. The cards that I mentioned a few minutes ago. And then you spawn 2 Witcher students, and if you're playing a Witcher theme deck, this card will fit well. And but it has to be Northern Realms or Skellige. Why? Because there are some cards that produce Witcher students in both factions. That's why I mentioned those 2. So this is a really good card in a specific deck. You cannot include this card like Giga Scorpion Decoction. So it's not a great card for for all type of decks. Triangle within a triangle. This is a decent spell card. I like the flexibility on it. Also, the premium version looks really nice. What does this card do? People will mostly try to use this card for damage. You can damage an enemy unit by its provision costs. For example, if you're using it on a spear tip or Jägern, this card will be great value. But there are some high provision cards with low power, so that won't work. And especially if they're boosted, that won't work. So you're only gonna be hitting them by 4 or 5. So for 9 provision, it's really weak. But alternatively, if you have a unit with high power, with high provision, but it is low powered, or got damaged by spells, went into 1 power or something like that, If you're able to, you know, boost it by 9 or 10 or 11, you're getting value from this card. Still, 9 provision is a lot, but I don't think it's a bad card. It will find place in decks like Gord decks, special card heavy decks, you know, in an Azure deck. So this card has place in this game, in my opinion, but you're not gonna see it often. And this concludes my reviews for neutral cards. And don't forget that there are also 6 more videos in this playlist. So if you want to watch my reviews for the other factions, please click on the link below. And if you like what I'm doing, please give me feedback. I could have done this video in a single long one, but I prefer to divide it into factions. I think I liked it better while I'm shooting this. Please let me know if you liked it as well. And don't forget to hit the like button if you like what I'm doing. And for our English speaking viewers, I will be shooting English videos along with Turkish ones. So you will always have a couple of options for each week. So don't forget to subscribe and stay healthy and safe, and hope to see you in a future Duello video. Bye bye.